Okay, well today what we're going to be talking about is chapter 3-4, which is solving multi-step inequalities. Okay, the objective is to just work with multi-step and solve multi-step inequalities. Our standard is A1.2.5. Okay, so problem number one, we're just going to get right into it here, is again, when we're working with inequalities, a lot of the stuff is exactly the same as an equal sign. So even though that we're working with something saying that it must be greater than or equal to or less than, a lot of this stuff is really just the same thing. The only thing that is different from equals is this sign right there. Okay, and what we learned from previous sections is as long as we don't multiply or divide by a negative, really it affects us in no manner. So for those that maybe struggle with the concept, you can really imagine this is equal to, and really you only have to mess with this sign when we're multiplying or dividing by a negative. Okay, so as we go to solve this problem, we just look at it and say, alright, well, I have 9 plus 4x is greater than 21, which again we just kind of equal to 21. And you say, well, the first thing I want to do was I want to get this term by itself. So just like we've done before with equals to, I want to get this term by itself so I can get x by itself. So I have to subtract 9 from each side. When I subtract 9 from both sides, 9 minus 9 is 0, plus 4x is my 4x. And then I take 21 minus 9, okay, which gets us 12. And now we look at it and say, alright, well, I want to get, again, the x by itself. And we always want a positive x by itself. So I have 4 times x. I need to divide by 4 to both sides. Now I am dividing by a positive, so therefore the sign stays the same. I get x, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so I have x is greater than 3. And again, like we've done before, we would like to draw a number line, and we start getting out of this in this section. But we would draw a number line and say, alright, well there's 3, I have an open circle, and I want it to be greater than, so I'm shading in this direction here. Okay, so you can put this on your notes, but understand that we're going to start getting out of drawing the number line. We've kind of covered that in the first 3 sections, so now we're going to get away from it a little bit. But we always do want to check our work, so a number bigger than 3, for example, might be like 4. So we take 9 plus 4 times 4 and see if that's greater than 21. Well, it's 9 plus 16, okay, which is 25, is greater than 21. Sure sounds correct to me. Yep, that works out. So that's how we do multi-steps. Okay, some of them are story problems. I know we don't like story problems, but as we start working through them, you want to fence in a rose bed that is adjacent to a deck. Okay, so what we really want to kind of think about is, alright, we have this deck. Okay, so here's our deck right here, and what we want to do is take this rose bed right here, and we want to put a fence going around it. Okay, what we do know is that when we put a fence around the side, it's going to be 14. So we know this one is 14 feet. Okay, which means that we know that this side is also going to be 14 feet. Okay, so what are the possible widths of the flower bed if we have 14 here, but we only have 44 feet of fence? So we have to write an equation for this. Well, the first thing we need to do is understand that what we're talking about is the perimeter. And I know perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Well, we know the length, so 2 times 14 is 28. So I know my perimeter is 28 plus 2w. But I only have 44 feet of fencing. So that means that what I have here must be less than 44, or we could use all of the fencing, which is 44 as well. And now we just have to solve. Okay, so we're going to subtract 28. So just like an equal sign, subtract. Okay, we get 2w on this side. Still, because we're just adding and subtracting, we're the same. Okay, so when we take 44 minus 28, we have to borrow. We get 6. Okay, we have 16 feet left after the 28. Okay, so now as we go through, we divide by 2. And we get 8 is greater than or equal to w. Which means that at most the sides here can be 8 feet or below. So we can go all the way down to really 0 if we wanted to, but we probably would have a flower bed that's a little bigger than 0 in width. Okay, so we can go up to 8 feet. Okay, on the width. That's what we can do. Other than that, we have to go below.